I would like to give a special nail addict shout out to Jazzy, April Shorty, I Love Nails, and Queen Miss Chris for being the first four to comment on my last video. Thank you, ladies.
Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camel. You don't really know you are.
Hey y'all, welcome back and welcome if you're new. My name is Sheena, and if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get into today's set. So today I'm doing the Lazy Girl method, and I'm using my 123 Go XXL Stiletto nail tips from Nail Couture. I really don't use these much, but I love a good stiletto. And then I'm using these polygels from a cart. This kit is one of the kits they brought back, like they had way back when. I believe this kit was called Entourage Kit, but it's a really pretty, like, glittery, shimmery set of polygels. And I decided to use them today because, again, I haven't used them in a while and they're really, really pretty. So today's set is super springy, and so we're using corresponding glitters for the set today. So I have a blue, green, purple, and orange, same as the polygel, same colors. And then we're going in with these four colors from Madame Glam, the Taurus Season, which is like a nice orange shade. We're going in with Lilac Lace, which is a pretty purple. Then we're gonna go in with Crystal Ball, which is like a teal, but it's more on the blue side, so I went with that. And last but not least, we're gonna go in with Eden Garden, which is a really nice green shade. So we're doing an ombre today with the Lazy Girl, and I'm just kind of showing you how I would achieve that. So I'm going in with this very nice purple shade off of the Macquarie polygels, and today's lip solution will be alcohol. So I did go ahead and squeeze in how much I felt I needed to start the set, and then I'm going to dip my polygel brush in some alcohol and dab that on a lint-free wipe, and then I'm going to go in and just start to pat the polygel into the nail well. So with the ombre, you want to bring it down how far you want it to go. I typically like to leave the polygel even with one another, and then like you see here, I'm just doing a nice swipe motion, and then it just kind of blends and fades into an ombre like so. I do like everything nice and smooth, so I'm just making sure it's smooth, and then I'm going to repeat that and move over to the next nail. So for the thumb and the ring finger, I did this purple shade, and again I just repeated the same thing, squeezed in just a nice little piece. I'm now patting that into the nail. I'm going to bring it all down to the same level and then just kind of swipe it down to create an ombre effect. I will go ahead and repeat this over all of my nails. For the index, I used the blue. For the middle finger, I used the green. And then for my pinky, I used the orange. And I will let you watch me create the first bead, which actually creates the ombre on the Lazy Girl nail set. Very, very easy to do, super beginner friendly, and it's just something that anybody can definitely do. And I feel like with the Lazy Girl method, you get just wonderful quality salon nails at home. So when I'm doing the lazy girl nails, typically before starting in with my second bead, which at those first beads were already fully cured for 30 seconds, I would go in and do my normal prep. But this was a peel off set, so now I'm applying my Beetles peel off, a really thin coat to all of my nails, and then curing that for 30 seconds. But normally I would push back my cuticles and then remove the dead skin from around the cuticle, rough up the surface of my natural nails, apply a dehydrator and primer of my choice, a layer of base gel, and cure it, and then I'm ready to apply my lazy girl nails. So once the peel off is cured like so, I'm gonna go in with the cuticle bead. So today's polygel for that is going to be our Siesta, one of my very favorites, a staple, a go-to when it comes to a nice nude. So I'm just gonna squeeze in just a dot of that. I also like my lazy girl nails to be very thin underneath. You can make them thick, thinner, but I would like it thin underneath. And then I just go in and pat around the cuticle, and then again blend that into the first already cured bead. This bead can be blended up as far as you'd like, because you're not going to be able to see it once it is applied to your nail. So I'm just going to continue to blend it up till everything is nice and smooth. I also want to make sure I'm keeping the polygel where my natural nail is so that it sticks on correctly. Then I'm going to place that on my nail like so, and kind of press a little bit, make sure it's in place, and give that a flash cure. And I just repeat that over all of my nails. Super simple, and again, it creates such a beautiful ombre effect underneath the nail. Pro tip when you're doing the lazy girl nails, you want to make sure you are sizing up. So for instance, if for your index, if you use like a 5, you're going to want to size up to a 4. So the lower the number, the bigger the nail. So you want to go down to a 4 so that it fits your nail properly. Being that we're placing product into the nail, you want to make sure there's a little extra room so that it fits like so onto your nail. And look how nice that ombre looks. So pretty. And I'm just repeating this over all of my nails. Once I go ahead and apply the pinky to my finger, I'm going to go ahead and place this in my lamp for a full 30-second cure. And this is how the nails are looking after just being applied. I love the shape alone. So absolutely gorgeous. So once I get them applied, I'm going to use a lint-free wipe with some alcohol and just rub down the nails, mainly underneath, because the polygel does leave a tacky inhibition layer once it is cured that you do want to get off before filing. And then for filing, it's pretty simple. I'm just using my mandrel with a sanding band, and I'm going only around my cuticle area with this just to clean up any spillage that might be there, and also just make it more flushed to the cuticle area, making it look also very natural. When using an e-file, you want to be very, very careful because you can cut yourself. If you're not comfortable, you can also do this with a hand file, but I go at about a speed of 4. It is sped up, so it looks really fast and it might look a little rough, but a speed of 4 does the trick for me and cleans up everything very, very nicely. Once I've used the e-file, I'm now going in with the sanding band, and I'm just using it to smooth everything on the nail. Take off that shiny layer so that I'm ready to go in with any nail art that I'm going to do. I also like to go in with my hand file and just kind of go in on the sides. And for my stilettos, I don't like them super pointy, so I get it to a point and then I round everything out. And I'm just going to repeat this over all of the nails. So I've placed all 4 colors on this nail palette, and I'm starting in with Crystal Ball on my index finger, and I'm just making a swirl here on the nail. So I'm trying to use my 25 milliliter nail art brush from a cart, and it just wasn't acting right. So typically when you're doing longer line designs like this, you do want to use a longer liner brush. It makes it very easy for you, but I'm so used to using my Macart nail art brush in a size 3, this smaller brush here, that I just do everything with it. I was trying to switch it up and use the appropriate brush for longer lines, but it wasn't working out for me, so I went back to what I know. So I did a swirl and then like a semicircle on the side of this nail, and then I'm going to give that a cure in my lamp for 30 seconds. Once it comes out, I'm going to wipe that down with a lint-free wipe just to get off that tacky layer that gel polish does leave. Then I'm going to do another line with Crystal Ball, another swirl line, but this swirl line, I'm actually going to leave it wet, and I'm going to use those glitters I showed earlier in the video, so obviously I'm going to use the blue one. And while it's wet, this gel polish, I'm going to pour over and then cure that for 30 seconds. Once it comes out the lamp, I'm going to dust that off, and such a pretty design that did make. So I'm basically repeating the same thing over all of my nails using the corresponding color. So Eden Garden will go here on the middle finger. We're going to go ahead and create that swirl in that semicircle, wipe that off camera, and then I'm going back in with the next swirly line. I'm going to leave that wet, and we're going to pour over that green glitter and then give that a 30-second cure in my lamp, and they all came out so freaking gorgeous. So I was so ready to see the design. These two here, I did the design before applying a matte top coat. So I wanted the background to be matte. So you see me here on my ring finger, pinky, and thumb applying the matte top coat. And then I'm going to go ahead and give that a 30-second cure. Now, it didn't look really bad, and you really couldn't tell. Like, if someone was to see me in person with these, obviously they wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But I just realized once I got to the middle finger, and I was pretty sad. But I'm going in now with Lilac Lace, and I'm going to use this on both my ring and my thumb because they're both going to be purple. I did want to incorporate a pink, but I could not find my pink polygel for that Entourage kit at all. And that Entourage kit was so nice, y'all. It came in like 12 different colors, just to die for. The actual design that you see on it, like the ombre, they came with a base coat like that, a polygel brush, a top coat. It was just a perfect kit. I really miss when Makartt used to make kits like that, and I really wish they would make them again, because I mean, it was an era where we were all like trying to get the latest kit. I know I did. I had every kit that possibly came out. It was so addicting. You just had to have them, and they were so freaking cute. So for the pinky, we're using Taurus Season. I'm doing the same thing. I did skip the glitter part for whatever reason. And now we're just going in and decorating, and I'm using these flowers, which represent spring to me oh so well, and my Makartt rhinestone glue, and I'm gonna place a dab at the tip of each nail and then at the cuticle of each nail, and I'm gonna find the corresponding color, and I'm gonna place a big and small flower at both the free edge and the cuticle of this nail. And I don't have the cure in between because the rhinestone glue is so good that whatever you place there, it's not going to move. Even before curing, it stays how you want it. So I was able to go ahead and get every color and every flower on here. And then I did give that a 30-second cure. The most tedious part about this was actually finding the bigger and the smaller flowers to be able to put this on. But this design came out absolutely to die for. I hope that everyone is having an amazing morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you may be. And as always, I thank you so very much for taking your time to watch my video. And if you're watching right now and you're not yet subscribed, I would love it if you would go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below. If you are new to my channel, welcome to the Nail Addict family, and I thank you so very much for joining me on my nail journey. And if you're somebody that's been subscribed or new or old, it doesn't really even matter. Just know that I love you so, so much, and I'm extremely thankful and grateful for each and every one of you. Once I got all of the flowers set, I'm going back in with my rhinestone glue right on top of each flower. I'm going to place just another dab, and then I'm going to go in and get some gold caviar beads to put into the actual flower, just to bring it out a bit and give it a little pop. If you notice, I did the 4 nails and I did not show my thumb at all because it's pretty much a repeat of the ring finger with the purple. So I felt like it would be okay to show towards the end. So I did go ahead and skip that each and every time. But as you see, I'm just placing a gold caveat bead into each centerpiece of the flower. And I'm going to just repeat this over all of the nails before I go in and actually give it a cure. But once I get all the caveat beads into the nails, I will give this a 30-second cure on my lamp. At that point, the nail set is pretty much done. So off camera, I do apply some cuticle oil, and I'll be back in just a moment with the final look. And here's the finished set. This set definitely screams spring to me. It's really fun, cute. I love the stiletto look to it. Comment down below and let me know what you think of this really spring-filled set. And if you made it this far into the video, I definitely would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the post notification bell so you don't miss any of my future sets. I thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in my next one.